KBS World Radio coming from Seoul, the Republic of Korea.
여기는 대한민국 서울에서 보내드리는 KBS 월드 라디오입니다. KBS World Radio, the overseas service of the Korean Broadcasting System, coming to you from Seoul, the capital of the Republic of Korea. We now begin today's English broadcast on KBS World Radio.
From Seoul, Korea, KBS World Radio News Today starts right now.
On today's broadcast, South Korea and the U.S. will conduct joint maneuvers in the East Sea until Saturday in response to North Korea's provocations. The presidential office is reportedly considering scrapping South Korea's military accord with North Korea should Pyongyang push forward with a seventh nuclear test. And the ruling party suspends the party membership of its former chair Lee Jung-suk for an additional 12 months until January 2024. This is KBS World Radio News. I'm Tom McCarthy. South Korea and the U.S. were set to kick off joint maneuvers in the East Sea on Friday, a day after they held missile defense drills with Japan in response to North Korea's provocations. The Joint Chiefs of Staff said South Korea's 4,400-ton Moonwood Great Destroyer and the Donghae Patrol Combat Corvette will participate in the two-day drill. They will be joined by the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier, the Aegis-equipped USS Barry Destroyer, the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, USS Benfold, and the USS Chancellorsville guided missile cruiser. After the joint drills, the navies of the two countries will escort the USS Ronald Reagan to waters southeast of Jeju Island. North Korea fired two short-range ballistic missiles toward the East Sea on Thursday morning. The launch, the sixth in 12 days, came 2 days after the North fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan. The South Korean military said that 12 North Korean military aircraft flew in formation near the inter-Korean demarcation line on Thursday afternoon. The Joint Chiefs of Staff said that 4 North Korean bombers and 8 fighter jets flew in formation south of the Special Aerial Surveillance Line at around 2 p.m. in an apparent show of force. The jets flew for about an hour over Goksan to Hwangju in North Hwanghae Province. The South Korean military immediately scrambled some 30 fighters to respond to the North Korean warplane. A military official said that North Korea appears to have conducted a rare air-to-surface firing drill. The presidential office is reportedly considering scrapping South Korea's military accord with North Korea should Pyongyang push forward with a seventh nuclear test. A presidential official left open the possibility on Friday, saying that the defense minister had already been doubting whether the accord signed on September 19, 2018, was still effective. President Yoon Suk-yeol, for his part, said on Friday that the government is thoroughly preparing responses to any further nuclear tests by the reclusive state, adding that it is difficult to reveal details in advance. Earlier on Tuesday, Defense Minister Lee Jong-suk said at a parliamentary audit of the Defense Ministry that the military will review the effectiveness of the 2018 Inter-Korean Agreement in light of the severity of the North's provocations. The military accord involves establishing a buffer zone on the ground, sea, and air to stop hostile actions and measures to prevent accidental clashes. The United States said that its combined military exercises with South Korea and Japan around the Korean Peninsula are defensive and not a threat to the region. In a press briefing on Thursday, Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder said that U.S. involvement in bilateral or trilateral exercises in the region is not new. He strongly condemned the North's latest missile launch on Thursday, calling on Pyongyang to immediately stop violating UN Security Council resolutions against such provocations, escalating military tensions, and threatening peace and stability. U.S. State Department spokesperson Vedant Patel also said that the U.S. has a number of tools, including sanctions, to hold North Korea accountable for its provocative actions. He said the U.S. is closely monitoring the situation and is ready to take additional measures. The Ethics Committee of the ruling People Power Party has slapped an additional 12 months to the party membership suspension of former chair Lee Jun-seok. The committee decided on the heavy penalty in a plenary session at the National Assembly after deliberating the case for about 5 hours from 7 p.m. Thursday, adding 12 months to his earlier 6-month suspension over allegations of attempting to cover up sexual bribery. The committee pointed to Lee's court injunction seeking to prevent the party from holding a national committee meeting early last month to launch a new emergency steering committee as part of the reasons for the latest penalty. The panel said that Lee attempted to hamper party leadership even after the court declared that there was no procedural reason the party could not convene the meeting in its ruling on Lee's first injunction, which resulted in the suspension of the previous emergency leadership chair, Joo Ho-young. The ethics panel also said Lee's strong-worded remarks insulting the party members and President Yoon Suk-yeol violated the party's ethics rules. He is now suspended until January 2024. The family of a fisheries official killed by North Korea in 2020 has filed a complaint with the prosecution against former President Moon Jae-in for refusing to cooperate in a state investigation. The family of Lee Dae-jun, who was shot and killed by North Korean military near the western maritime border in September 2020, claims that the former president's refusal may violate the Board of Audit and Inspection Act. The provision cited in the complaint stipulates that a refusal to comply with the BAI request to submit documents or appear for questioning without providing justification is punishable by a maximum of 1 year in prison or 10 million won in fine. The complaint against Moon, the first in relation to this case, follows the former president's refusal to submit to a written investigation into his administration's handling of Lee's death by the BAI last week, a request his party called very disrespectful. The family plans to file additional complaints against the former president for his administration's failure to rescue Lee, as well as for its initial claims that the official had attempted to defect prior to his death. The country posted a current account deficit in August due to soaring import prices of raw materials. According to tentative data released by the Bank of Korea on Friday, the country's current account balance logged a deficit of $3.05 billion in August, a sharp reversal from the surplus of $7.44 billion a year ago. The August deficit is attributed to a sharp fall in the goods balance, which marked a shortfall of $4.45 billion, down more than $10 billion from a year earlier. While exports increased 7.7%, imports spiked 30.9% on year. The drop in the current account balance comes after 3 consecutive months of surplus since May, having only swung into the red in April after posting a surplus for 23 straight months. The central bank said the current account will likely return to the black in September. Daily COVID-19 cases remained in the 20,000 range for a second day as the outbreak continues to subside. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said on Friday that 22,298 infections were reported throughout the previous day. The daily tally decreased by over 6,000 from a week ago and about 6,800 from 2 weeks ago, marking the lowest in 13 weeks for Friday tallies. There were 41 deaths. The 103rd National Sports Festival kicked off on Friday in the city of Ulsan for a 7-day run. The festival returned to full strength after last year's iteration only featured under-19 events and a total cancellation in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A record 28,900 athletes representing 17 major cities and provinces from throughout the country, as well as members from overseas Korean teams, will compete across 49 events. Among those expected to participate are medal winners and strong performers from the Tokyo Olympics and other major international competitions, including high jumper Woo Sung-hyuk, swimmer Hwang Sun-woo, gymnast Yeo So-jung, and modern pentathlete Jeon Eun-tae. The benchmark Korea Composite Stock Price Index fell 5.02 points, or 0.22% on Friday, closing the week at 2,232.84. On the foreign exchange, the local currency weakened 10 won against the dollar, ending the day at 1,412.41. And that's the news from KBS World Radio's News Center in Seoul. I'm Tom McCarthy.